Alright, real talk, Matt family. Real talk. Negan. What the hell is his purpose? Coming up, obviously. What is his purpose? I mean, it can actually be anything. I mean, anything, as far as the TV universe is concerned. But looking at the comic universe, I don't know if there's really much they can go by. Because if you look at comic Negan, he's MIA. I mean, if you don't read the comic, Negan's missing in action. It's as if Kirkman kind of can't figure out what to do with him, and he's frustrated with him. So he kind of just had him walk off into the sunset, and then he's telling fans we're never going to see Negan again. Which, again, even if he holds out, the moment the Walking Dead comics start dropping in sales, he's going to bring Negan back. I mean, he's a brand. He's a brand that sells. It's something that would create publicity. People will be talking. Websites will be talking about it. So Negan's not going for good. If he's going for good, I give Kirkman mad props. I mean, a shit ton of props. The only reason I could see Negan not returning is if Kirkman, in the back of his mind, is cooking up some really epic, and we're talking about comic Negan now, a really epic comic Negan video game. Imagine, finally, in the world of The Walking Dead, we can play at... This phone, man. I shut it off. I know I did, but it's like, nope. I know you said mute me, but you need to hear this message. No, I really don't. Anyway, where was I? Ruined my train of thought. Anyway, imagine finally being able to play a pivotal character, and an iconic character in a real video game, like something real, where it's really interactive and you control the story or you're immersed in the story. I don't even know. Think like Red Dead Redemption, but you're Negan, as the main character. Oh my God. Record-breaking sales right there, especially, just whatever. Imagine Grand Theft Auto with Negan, and after the events in the comic, holy shit, if he was cooking up something like that, it'd be insane. Hence, taking him out of the comic universe, because you'd put him in his own game, and then obviously bring him back probably. But anyway, even if you look at Negan in the comic and kind of use that as a map, as a guide to what they would bring on the show, they already covered so much. I mean, there's so much, it's not even funny. Even in the comic, when you look back at what Negan did, he didn't really do much. I mean, at the time, it was cool because it was a completely different and new type of Negan. I talked about Negan in the comic being dead. Like, Negan in the comic is dead and gone. The guy we got now, who used to be Negan, is not Negan. He's a really different character. He has the same, characteristics, but he's not that type of leader. He's changed. But what did he really do? I mean, once he was locked up, he escaped, but he didn't do anything. I mean, we thought he might help out with the Sanctuary, but he didn't. And then we thought he would help out with the Whispers, and he kind of did. He had some cool stuff going on. Nothing that changed. I mean, Negan's interaction with the Whispers, it was cool scenes, but it didn't change the story. He fought Beta. He didn't kill him. He didn't defeat him. He gave him an ass whooping. He didn't permanently get rid of him. I mean, he saved Rick's life, which was cool as hell. I mean, that was cool as shit. It was a cool moment seeing those characters and then stuck in the situation they were in. Again, it was a cool moment, but it didn't do anything for the story. What about, as far as saving Rick's life? Yes, that, kept that character alive. But what I'm saying is, looking at it as a blueprint for the TV show character, what are they going to do? Because after the Whisperer storyline, Negan had his moment, his big moment with Maggie. And that's when Negan decided not to create a second Lucille in the comic, and he went off. So now we got the moment. Rick is gone. The Whisperers are coming. Negan, he escaped, but there's no real saviors or sanctuary to rebuild or take control of or lead again. I don't think it's going in that direction. What else can they add to the story? They already did the Maggie thing, which was a big deal. They did that because Lauren Cohan was leaving. They had to get it in the storyline. The only thing left is Negan's attachment to Lucille and him coming to terms that he is a changed person. He's going to escape. He's going to go looking for Lucille. And along the way, maybe it's the sanctuary, and maybe it's seeing the communities. Maybe it's this introduction to the new villains. Maybe it's Lucille and taking a look at his past, at his backstory, and realizing he has come a long way. And he's definitely different. He's changed after 8 years in prison. He's not gonna pick up that mantle again as Negan, the tyrant, the ruthless leader. So what is his purpose? What's next? Can they follow the comic storyline and have Negan help our survivors with the Whisperers, but then leave? Be banned, be kicked out? Well, they already did that with Dwight, so you got to be careful how you mix it. Are they going to send Negan to Fear the Walking Dead? If they do, I'm out, bro. If they do, Negan's dead to me. That shit's getting a little bit ridiculous. But anyway, so in my opinion, looking at it, unless I missed something, and if I did, you can definitely let me know. I'll make an update video, but I think there's going to be a big remix with Negan. It has to be. Yeah, you can have the actor do movies and do other jobs and stuff like that while the character's not on the show. The character in the comic is MIA. He's missing in action. So on the show, you can do the same thing. Maybe Negan's not even in season 10. Maybe he's in 1 or 2 episodes and that's it. And he could take other jobs. But is this actor going to want to linger around and be in 2 episodes here, none of season 11, 1 episode in season 12? I kind of feel like they need to do something substantial with him and maybe even possibly kill him off. Maybe Negan for the TV show only has a season or 2 left. He could be a big death in season 10. He could be a big death with a redemption arc in the Whisperer War. Because again, what is Negan's purpose? One obvious thing is, redemption, but a change, what's that word I'm looking for? I'm looking for a specific word. One obvious thing is Negan being the proof of the change. The world and how it was in this new world, in this post-apocalyptic world with walkers, run by Negan, and then seeing him after. What incarceration can do, what time can do, breaking him down, seeing how his ways were extremely flawed, as fun as some of them may have been at the time. Rehabilitated. That's the word I'm looking for. Negan can be the proof that some of the biggest scum can be rehabilitated in this world. Maybe even proven Rick and / Carl right to some degree. I think Negan being around is interesting, especially when he interacts with certain characters like Maggie, like Daryl. I think it would be really awesome to have Negan embrace some of... Oh, that's something that's important. Negan did do one huge thing for the comic storyline, which is he essentially made the first attack to the Whisperers an official, brutal blow to the Whisperers. I give Negan that for the storyline. He almost single-handedly kicked off the Whisperer War. It was always coming, I feel. When you read it, it was coming eventually. There was no way around it. But Negan really jump-started it. And instead of coming in a few weeks, it came the next day. Negan did that, plot-wise, story-wise. So yeah, sure, they'll bring Negan back in that aspect, and maybe that's enough for this season. Maybe that is enough. But how cool would it be? And I don't know how he's going to get introduced to this new group, but how cool would it be for Daryl to be in this fight with Beta, this new beast of a man villain? Maybe he goes looking for Henry. Henry and Lydia are locked up together. We've already broke this down. Henry gets a liking to Lydia. He shows her around. They have dinner. They don't keep her locked up forever. She comes out, sees their way of life. Maybe a few days go by. She grows on him. Puppy love, his first love. And then they send her out in the world. And he finds out what she goes through. He finds out that her own mother allows men to rape her. And he just can't have that. He can't picture that. He can't imagine that is her life. And he wants to protect her. So then he goes out. And then Daryl goes out. But now Daryl is where he doesn't belong. And Beta is not having it. So Beta whoops his ass, takes his knives, And maybe he's even going to kill Daryl. And then you got Negan show up. I don't care how he shows up. I don't care how they tell that story. The point is he shows up. And then Daryl's beaten a little bit, sweaty, bloody, not fully getting his ass kicked, but he's having a hard time, right? He's going through a hard time. Beta just took his knives. And then Negan walks in and he does that eye thing. I think that would be funny as hell. Remember when Daryl was, when he escaped from being a prisoner and Negan shows up with Sasha and he did this eye thing. He pointed to his eyes. He's like, I see you, Daryl. You got my Daryl. Negan can walk in and he does the eye thing to Daryl. And Daryl just kind of rolls his eyes and grunts like, this fucking guy. I'm going to kill the both of you. You know what I'm saying? Don't be playful with me. I hate your guts. I'll kill you too. But Daryl's not really in that position because he needs all the help he can get at this moment. So then we can get a fight with Daryl, Negan, Beta. Something brutal, cool. They just make it out alive. Man, fan service maybe. But I think that would be pretty cool. But after that, what is the purpose of Negan? Is it to show a character rehabilitated? Even so, I think it's difficult telling this story and having him become a survivor living among our survivors. So how do they twist that story? How do they tell that story? I just don't buy it if he's living with our survivors. Not yet. Even if he saves Daryl's ass, I just don't buy it, man. I just don't buy it. What he did to Glenn, what he did to Abraham, I can't see there ever being forgiveness there. Enough to spare his life, I can buy that. I mean, hell, Glenn wouldn't even kill him. Glenn would be like, "You're fine," you know. That's just who he was. This is the type of person he was. But to live with them after all that, I don't know, man. He could live on the outskirts, but Daryl's already doing that story. He's living, you know, in a van down by the river and shit. So again, what is Negan's purpose? I'm starting to think if we don't start seeing the seeds of Negan's purpose, besides getting out and figuring out who he is, who he was, and the wrong shit he did, and besides his role in the Whisperer War, I'm talking about long term. What is his purpose? It's more and more, unless we get seeds of new storyline, I'm beginning to feel like TV Negan might be living the last of his days on the show. Maybe season 10 is the last season of this villain. And if that's the case, what do you do with this villain? Do you have him exit the story and do a movie with him? Or do you kill him off? Leave your thoughts and opinions down in that comment box. I definitely want to hear them. I'm done talking. It's your turn.